text messages, that means you are active either in the Telegram group or you just decided to get on at 8. So I appreciate y'all. So this morning we will be going over and studying how to heal a broken heart. Now, if you have a broken heart or have had a broken heart, I want you to type yes in the comment section. It ain't got to be a relationship broken heart, but some type of sadness. You're going through something, a little depression, y'all feeling maybe a little defeated. You know what I mean? Put that in the comment section, man. Let me see who going through it, because, you know, we all be going through it now. In some type of way, we all be going through it. So we all need a little healing here and now. All right. I'm not even showing y'all my screen, am I? Okay. Let me see something real quick here. What we're going to be going over is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan speaking on how to heal and mend a broken heart. For those of you all who may be new, who's listening and tuning in probably for your first time, how we do this, family, is every morning after we finish listening to the minister, or while we're listening to the minister, I want you to be taking notes, because there's something that he's probably going to say that's going to touch you specifically. So if something hits you that he said, oh, dang, I needed that one, write it down so that at the end you can share it with us. Because what we want y'all to do is, when we say, hey man, what did you get out of this podcast, or what did you get out of this message today? When you share it, you're going to say something that somebody else didn't really catch. They didn't hear it, because based on what we going through and experiencing in life, different things is going to touch us, and we're going to remember based on, you know, who we are. So when you share, you're allowing God to work through you this morning, not just the minister, not just myself, not just people that's going to speak, but he's going to be able to work through you, because you're going to allow or open up and be vulnerable enough to, you know, share and tell us what stood out for you. So, and what I always like to start off with in these mornings, the other call, something came to mind, and I said, man, how will God work through you today? And that's a question I want us all to think about. How will God work through me today? Not just today, but every day. How will God work through you? Is it through how kind you are? Is it through a word? Is it through you're an example? And don't just make up stuff. I'm gonna cut my nails. No, I'm talking about God, man. How is God gonna work through you today? How are you gonna impact somebody today? Especially if we are on these calls every morning, getting a word that we know can resurrect our people. Like, that alone should put some type of stress on our mind, that, man, I'm learning something and I'm getting something that I know is good for black people, that I know we need. What am I going to do with it? All right. So let's get started.
With the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. I thank you, Minister Ishmael and staff. I thought that I should not wait to deliver this message, because I wanted us to think on what I, by the grace of Allah, will say, so that the whole weekend of atonement and reconciliation will have more meaning to the believing community. I am thankful to Allah for all of the believers, and for those who are in the various mosques and study groups throughout the nation. Thank you so much for your attendance, for your attention, and for your help. I thank Brother Minister Ismail Mohammed and my son, Captain Mustafa, and the National Secretary Kamal Mohammed, the lieutenants, the Sister Captain Aisha, the Sister Chief of Protocol, Sister Claudette Marie Muhammad, and all of the laborers who are attempting to labor. My subject tonight is, how do you mend or heal a broken heart? How do you mend or heal a broken heart? The root of a nation and the success of a nation is built on family life. And the success of family life is built on the institution of marriage. And the success of marriage is determined by our relationship to God. When, according to the Bible and Quran, Allah created Adam, He did not mean for Adam to be alone. So He created for the man the woman, not as a plaything, but as a serious creation that would help the man to do what God put on the man when He created him. You don't create a man to stand in the place of God and give him a dummy for a helpmeet. So if the man is ordered by God to be his vicegerent or to stand in his place over the affairs of the earth, and He gives him a woman to help him, she is capable, has the acumen, the intelligence, and the potential to help that man do God's work. Now, marriage then is that which gives to the male the comfort, the protection of a female, and gives to the female the same in the male, so that they become a team working to fulfill the will of God. So the Bible instructs that when the man chooses a woman, he cleaves to that woman, and she cleaves to that man, forsaking all others, so that no mother, no father, nobody should come between the sacred union of the male and the female in the sacred institution of marriage. Marriage is not for sex. Marriage is to form a team to do the will and the work of God. And in so doing, the male can partake of what God has put in the female to console and comfort him and help him and strengthen him in his effort to do the will of God. But to have pleasure to do nothing is already an affront to God. And to give pleasure when it is not due. Or justified. Now, the thing that has brought me out to you tonight is the constant cry in the nation, particularly among the females, but not limited to the females, of adultery going on in various households that is breaking the heart of the female and breaking the home. Now, home is sacred to God. And this is why in the Old Testament, adultery is punished by death. Because something happens through adultery that is worthy of death, because adultery kills the union. Say He, Allah, is one. He is not divided into parts. So if God is one, when the two, male and female, come together to decide to become as one, that is a sacred pledge. So the stronger the bond of marriage, the stronger the union of marriage, the stronger the family. How do you mend? How do you heal a broken heart? Some of the sisters that write me declare their faithfulness. And they were so hurt by what their male counterpart did that it began to destroy. They don't say this, but it's in the letters. You can read between the lines. It begins to destroy faith. So that once the sister becomes disappointed in the male, angry with the male, hurt by the male, and you teach that God is a male or man, then her faith in God gets shaken by our stupidity. But sisters, when the male ill affects you by what he has done, and then you take your garment off, begin wearing tight clothes again, going to places that you gave up going to before, looking for something that would heal the broken heart. But you never get a healing, you get a pacifier. And all of you that are mothers that have babies, a pacifier can only suffice for a while, because there's nothing substantive to a pacifier. And most of the relationships that you get into are nothing more than pacifiers. There's no substance in them. On the other side of that, when the male finds another man in his bed, this is a pretty hard thing for a man to endure. Once you know that your wife has been unfaithful to you, there is no longer a desire to be there. But it's the same on her side. If she puts her complete trust and confidence in us, and then we do that breaks the trust, breaks the confidence, then we are sending her away from us. And that's why one of the grounds for divorce is adultery. Major ground. Okay? Now, there's a lot of believers right now thinking about divorce, not reconciliation, not mending, healing what has happened in that house, thinking sometimes only of our pain, but not what is happening to the children who are watching the drama. So there's a lot of consequences that accrue when we are unfaithful to our word. Have not you learned or heard that your word shall be bond, regardless of whom or what? What is there to a man or a woman if we have no word? If what we say in the presence of our family and to God has no meaning at all, and if the prophet says that marriage is one half of faith, and in 6 months we're out of it, a year we're out of it, and then you won't be around long in the nation. Why did you say that, Farrakhan? There's a scripture in the Bible that says, many are called, but just a few are chosen. Every week that my brother, Minister Ishmael, speaks, or I speak, you see the people lined up all the way to the back and around. They're so happy for the word that they heard, they want to join. And then the next week, where are they? What happened between the time that you shook their hands and invited them to Islam and the next meeting night? Many are called, but only a few are chosen. But chosen for what purpose? Why would God come to North America by himself to choose a messenger? Do you think he was just choosing a man to give him nothing to do? And everything that he created has an aim and a purpose? So he chose the messenger for a purpose. And that purpose was the resurrection of us as a people, to deliver a message that would resurrect us. And if the messenger doesn't deliver the message, then he's not the messenger and he stands to be chastised. Who will go for us? That's the question that is asked. Who will go? And one voice said, here am I, send me. Each one of you know instinctively that you owe a duty to your Creator. So when you get in trouble and nobody can help you, you make your prayer sincere. And then you say to the Creator, oh God, or oh Allah, or oh Jesus, by whatever name you called him, because you've had this conversation before. If you get me out of this, I'll serve you for the rest of my days. That's the lie that we told to God. But the Quran says, and when he delivers you, lo, we set up other gods beside him. So all of us at one time or another have lied to God. So if you will lie to God, what does your mate have as a chance that you are not lying to her or to him? If your word that you gave to Allah means nothing, then the word that we give to one another is even less than nothing. Have not you heard that your word shall be bond regardless of whom or what? Well, we don't give our word and not be tried. Just say what you want to do in life. I don't care what it is. I think today I want to do such and such. Before you step off to do something, the phone may ring. Somebody call you to do something else and take your mind right off the course. And the thing that you said you were going to do, I have to do it again tomorrow. That's how easy some of us get pulled away from a word. Now, no one who gets married should think that the vows that we take will not be tried. Not that the vow is being tried. We who made the vow are being tried. So Allah says in the Quran, and do men and women think that they will be left alone on saying we believe and will not be tried? I mean, look at our prayers. Oh Allah, my prayer, my sacrifice, my life and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Well, don't you think at some point he's going to call us on that? So when you go to the altar, and I don't like saying marriages anymore, I don't mean to offend you. When you ask me, would you, minister, say my marriage? And I refuse. I say funerals, not marriages. Because the dead is not lying, they dead. But to stand up over people that are lying and don't mean what they say, that's disturbing to me. So I'd rather not be bothered with that. Call anybody you want to marry you. Justice of the peace, any other liar, you know. But most of you are lying anyway. Only a few hold on to their marriages through thick and thin. You don't mind it when it's thick, but you're ready to run when it gets thin. I like the Christian words for richer, for poorer. Well, hell, we've been poor all our life, so we ain't talking about richer for us. Poorer and poorer than poor. Everybody, black for the most part, start off poor. So don't think that money is a prerequisite for marriage. Love is a prerequisite for marriage, and love will get you the money. You love the woman, you're going to find some money. You ain't going to rob anybody, steal from anybody, cheat anybody. Because marriage and a woman demands money to maintain marriage and home and family. That's real. In today's world, oftentimes, the female has to work right along with the man. But if you really form a strong partnership, not the woman hiding money from the man that she making, and the man hiding money from the woman to give to the other woman. You didn't hear me. See, some of you look like you don't like this subject. But I ain't got deep into it yet. Wait, just wait. I've been reading these letters. And it's hurtful. Because if the families in the nation break apart, because marriage is breaking apart, then what is happening to our nation? To preserve and protect the nation, you have to preserve and protect family and preserve and protect the holy institution of marriage. Now, look, some of you, all of us as men and women are attracted to beautiful faces, right? You see a pretty woman, she see a handsome man, that's attraction. But pretty don't mean pretty. And handsome don't really mean handsome. That may draw you to the table. But what's going to keep you at the table is something beautiful on the inside. Now, those of us who like pretty faces, well, what happens when the pretty face that attracted you to the altar gets common? You see it every day, especially waking up. It may not be so pretty, with stuff all in your eyes and your mouth all nasty and whatnot, breathing all that halitosis on people. And there ain't no makeup nor a wig. Damn, you might get disillusioned in the morning. And she right there with you, though. She looking at your ugly self, too. Smelling that bad breath, too. And she might say, damn, what did I see in him? I think I made a mistake. So cuteness and beauty is relative. So if it's beauty that attracted you to your wife, then there's somebody down the street that is beautiful too. Round the corner, next door, upstairs, downstairs. There's a man right around the corner, more handsome than your husband, that you have never seen wake up in the morning with a funky breath. So the grass always looks greener on the other side of the fence until you get over there. And so many of us have been like a child in a candy store. Taste a little piece of the candy. Oh, that's nice. Let me try this one. Ooh, ooh. And every time we look around, you got a different woman on your arm. And all your disillusioned wives are in the mall, looking at each other with daggers in their eyes. Did I say something? My subject is, how do you heal a broken heart? Now, what is it about the heart that when the heart is broken, it leads to distress and grief and anxiety and troubles and depression and make you sick? My heart is broken. Now, your heart is in your chest. How did it get broke? But it's not talking about this heart. It's talking about the core of that which is the center of your emotions. That out of which thoughts arise is called the heart. So when the heart is diseased, only God can heal a diseased heart. So when the action of one of the partners in the marriage ill affects the heart of another, and the pain of one's action causes an effect in the lives of both, sometimes it teaches the person who is the victimizer or the guilty party the lesson of why adultery is punishable, in some cases by death. Because adultery on the part of the female or the male kills the home, the family, the trust, and the love of the spouse. But sometimes the male or the female who has been found guilty of adultery recognize what they did by looking at the pain that is causing in somebody that they claim they love, the mother of the children or the father of the children. And that party so affected by what has happened may have a mind and a heart to do whatever is necessary to help in the healing process of someone whose heart is broken because of what they did. The husband may approach his wife. She rejects his approach and doesn't even give a damn about the lesson that he may have learned. You know, we have lessons as Muslims. And a lesson is something that when you learn it, you never forget it. The lesson becomes so deeply ingrained in your consciousness that whatever circumstance came up that brought about the learning of that lesson, you see it even before it gets to your door the next time, and you avoid it. Did you know that sometimes when a bone gets broken, it gets stronger when it is healed? There's some homes that are breaking, but if there's no desire to reconcile, no desire to heal the broken heart and put balm on the wound, then we go our separate way without ever counting the cost of what happens to our children as the drama plays out. The children now are forced to choose sides. The mother always, of course, believes she's right. She has the ear of the children, so she's busy telling them what happened and why I'm getting rid of him. And then the father, he said, well, I can't let this happen. He gets a chance. You see, your mother did A, B, and C. Now, there are things that we both do that the children shouldn't know about. You don't discuss certain things with the children to poison the children, because you're not poisoning the children against one, you're really poisoning the children against both. That's why prayer is so vital. My sister that preaches, I can't think of her name. If Sister Claudette were here, she would tell me her name, that sang the song, I Had a Little Talk with God. Midikaya. See, how many of you think enough of God to talk to God, rather than talking to people to get people on your side? See, the wife has friends, supporters. Ditch that nigga. Get that bastard. Get rid of him. I knew that nigga wasn't nothing. I could have told you that before. See, these are the unhappy people that can't make a marriage work and want to see yours fail because theirs is a failure. Then on the other side, the male has his friends. She did that? You mean she ain't cooking? The house ain't clean? The dishes ain't washed? Damn, brother, how could you stand that? Like he living in paradise. How do you mend a broken heart? The husband approaching his wife, he might be sincere because he really sees the devastation that he has caused, or the wife approaches the husband seeing the devastation that she has caused. Now, both of them are at a standoff. The hell with it. Hell with it. She feels you did this to me, to us. And she's not only in a state that she does not wish to be bothered with you, she don't want the sight of you. But then if you watch her closely, you find her turning away from faith. She don't want to put on a headpiece no more. She wants to be seen at the, what's the name of that club downtown? That's right, just call them all out since you all hang out there. Before you know it, she's in a bar room. Damn, I think I need a drink. She ain't said I need God yet. She haven't got down on her knees and gone in the closet and talked to her Creator, who created the heart and is the only one capable of healing a broken heart. He's the last one we talk to. But I'm going to talk to my mother. I'm going to talk to my father. I'm going to talk to my sister, my brother, oh, my neighbor next door. I just want everybody to know this nigga ain't nothing. All of a sudden you woke up to know that your choice was bad. But was it really? Or did something happen that caused the disease to set in to drive us apart? So I'm watching some of the sisters who are in this state of mind, and the brothers too. They're looking for a pacifier. He's out looking for the miniskirt sister. The hell with this, you know what I mean? I'm going out to the House of Blues because I got the blues. And I'm going to find me a man to pacify me. Now, I looked up the word, not adultery, because y'all know what adultery is. It's a married man or woman having a sexual relationship with somebody that they're not married to. Okay? But the word to study is the word adulterate. Because to adulterate something means to corrupt it, to debase it, to defile it, or make it impure by adding a poor or improper substance into something that was pure, to make it then inferior. So when you go outside of a marriage to find another woman or another man, you are adding an improper substance into a relationship, thereby corrupting the marriage, corrupting and debasing and defiling the marriage, or making the marriage impure, thereby creating a breach. These choices that we make to adulterate or make impure or to corrupt our houses have consequences. And these consequences ill affect us spiritually first, mentally, morally, physically, emotionally, and ultimately financially. We are always stronger when we are at one. Now, rejecting the approach of a wife or a husband who has learned a lesson from infidelity and wants to make it right, refusing even when an offer is made to ask for forgiveness, how is Allah looking at us if we have no will to forgive one another, yet stand in need of His forgiveness, and would not want God to walk away from us and say, "You dirty, unclean Negro, I'm not going to forgive you"? Well, if the God is so merciful that He can cast sin into the sea of forgetfulness, then why, as a Christian, have we said, "I forgive those who trespass against me," after I've asked God to forgive my trespasses? That's the Lord's Prayer. Have you forgotten it? Okay. As a pacifier cannot satisfy the natural hunger in a baby, when your heart is broken and you go out looking for something new or an old romance, this will never heal or mend a broken heart. It is nothing more than pacification, because the real healing starts with a person's connection to God. Some of us men who mess up, and our wives have been so faithful, they've been so good, sometimes in the quiet of the night they think about committing suicide, because we have messed up our lives and we are pained over the terrible act that has been done that messed up your life and someone's life that you really love. So the question will come up, well, why did you do it? Those are questions that are easily asked but not easily answered. Why does a man go out to commit adultery? I start with the man first, because a woman is not by nature an adulteress. What do you mean by that, Farrakhan? I can only tell you what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me. He said that when a woman's heart is filled with the man that she loves, no other man can enter. I don't give a damn if he's the most handsome man or has a lot of money or whatever he may have, position and power. He can never enter her heart if her heart is filled with you and me. The question then becomes, how do you keep a woman's heart filled with you? And evidently we messed up, because we leave a hole in the heart, and what love was in it start running out. So when her heart is no longer filled with you, then her eyes start looking. So, brothers, we need help to fill a woman's heart. You can't fill a woman's heart in our condition. We are just too far away from the nature in which we are created to fill the woman's heart with us. I mean, when she first falls in love with us, her heart is filled. But, you know, there's a glass of water under here. But just crack it a little, you know what I mean? And you look around, the water's going. So it is with love. It just starts running out of the heart. It might be a little left at the bottom. But look at all the room for another man to come in. Say, well, hell, well, you no good woman. Well, hell, somebody opened the door. But if you're a good woman, which very few are, I'm going to qualify everything I say tonight. If you're a good woman, which very few are, you will hold on to yourself and the word that you made, regardless of what he does. You are not going to let him be your downfall, and vice versa. Who are we to worship a woman? You sound so stupid. I love you, baby. I can't live without you, baby. That's a damn fool. She ain't God. What you mean you can't live without her? She wasn't in the womb when you were being formed. Neither was he. You can live without a man, and he can live without a woman, but you can't live without a relationship with God. Everybody all right? Yeah. How do you heal a broken heart? Now, nothing that a male or female does should be an instrument to remove us from God. That's our post. Our faith is our post. And we must guard and protect our faith, because that's the only thing that you have that will secure for you a future. Not secure you a man, but secure you a future. You say, yeah, but I'm in a lot of pain. Well, that ain't nothing new. Did you think that you were going to have life without pain? But what kind of world did you think you were born in? The Quran says that Allah created the human being to struggle, to face difficulties, because it's the struggle of life, to overcome the natural pain in life that brings out the best or the worst in us. Anybody can be faithful with everything going right. That ain't no test. My husband comes home every night right after work. He's right there on the dot, honey. But I got his meal ready. He's so sweet. or she's so nice. But then let some trouble come in the house. See, now that's the test. How you gonna handle it? It's too much pain. I'm getting out of it. Well, hell, get out of life then. See, because if you don't want pain, die. Because only the dead don't feel it. If you're alive, you're going to feel pain in this world. We put people away, and when we put them away in death, they say their struggle is over. They don't feel no more pain. They ain't sick no more. Whatever heart they had that was broken, they ain't got to worry about it. So if you don't want pain and struggle, then maybe you shouldn't be here. Because God has ordained it to bring out of you what He put in you of good and evil. It's in you. It's the struggle of life, the ups and the downs that make you see yourself. See? You may be looking at your husband, but look back now at yourself. Because it's how you handle things that show you who you are. So you could be home saying that no good nigga, so and so and so and so, and I'll never forgive him. Well, that's you. Well, what kind of heart have you got now? Well, I can blame him because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have this hard heart. But the scripture says it's not what goes in that defiles the person. It's what comes out. So none of us can escape pain and hurt and disappointment in life. But that's what breaks the heart. It's the pain of disappointment. It's the hurt of an ego. You know, a man thinking, this is my woman. She told me I was hers. You know what I mean? That's big stuff. I'm yours, baby. Yeah, I'm yours, and hers, and hers, and his, and his. That gets to be quite painful. And when the trust is broken and the heart is broken, where do you go to achieve a healing? Now, you know, when the messenger was among us, he was in reality the apple of my eye. I love that man so much that I did my best to live and obey every word that I heard him say. I never could conceive of myself being in a world without him. I always saw myself dying, but the messenger is still here, teaching and raising us. And many of the followers, we found that on the morning of February 25th at 8:10 Central Standard Time, when they announced over the radio that Elijah Muhammad was dead, the whole nation was in a shock. We came in on the 25th and had Savior's Day the 26th and a funeral on the 28th, the last day of February, and a casket was sitting right here, right there, mosque full. The casket never was open, and the mosque was unbelievably quiet. Nobody was crying. Nobody was, I mean, it just was a strange thing that day. And for a man that was loved as much as he was loved, and as much as I thought I loved him, I never shed a tear until maybe a few weeks afterward in my office in New York, I broke down. My heart was broken. My teacher was gone. There was a feeling of disappointment. There was a feeling of pain, great pain. Nothing made sense anymore. You know, people can be in your family and don't know you. The children of a great leader can drop a seed unknowingly to interfere with the faith of a follower. Because each child has a view of the father or the mother who is the messenger. But did they see him right? Did the wife see him right? Now, I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. Very innocent, and I'm not condemning anybody. I'm making a point. There was a daughter of Honorable Elijah Muhammad that I would visit in this city when I would come in for Savior's Day. And at a certain time, I was getting very popular. And as I visited the home this particular day, she said to me, "You know, Minister, you're getting very, very popular. And Daddy don't like it when somebody, you know, outshines him." I didn't say nothing. But what kind of view was that? That's her view. Now, see how a family member can see you doing something and don't know why you do what you do and misjudge you. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean. Y'all all right? Remember the subject. How do you mend or heal a broken heart? I was sitting at the messenger's table. First, in the afternoon, he says to me, I came to the house, he said, "Brother, did you take Tynetta's play, The Night of the Storm, and make that the base of the play that you wrote?" I said, oh no, sir, dear Apostle. He said, "You didn't?" I said, "Well, don't worry, I'll clear it up at the dinner table." When I get to the dinner table that night, all the laborers are at the dinner table. Mother Tynetta's there, Waterford Dean was there, John Ali and others, Sharif, and I'm sitting right to his right. Mother Clara is sitting right across from me. And he starts in on me. You wait till I get the soup down. And then he started. Brother, I understand that you took a sister's play and made your own play and is running around taking the credit for something that you stole from that sister. I said, "No, sir, dear Apostle, I didn't do that." But did you see her play The Night of the Storm? No, sir, dear Apostle. I never knew that she wrote a play. But Brother Malcolm saw it, didn't he? I don't know. Well, he saw it. Didn't Malcolm come and tell you about her play? I said, no, sir. He never said anything to me. And he kept this going. I mean, he wouldn't stop. I kept answering him, no, sir, no, sir. And he, and Mother Clara was sitting right across from me. She said, well, you heard him say he didn't do it. And he looked at her and said, you be quiet, Clara, I'm handling this. She didn't say no more. And he went right on grilling me. And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Keep saying no, he's saying yes. I'm saying no, sir. He's saying yes, you did take it, didn't you? So I don't want to be arguing with him. So I said, well, whatever you say I did, dear Apostle, that's exactly what I did. And he took his handkerchief and, well, all right then. The whole table quiet now. Farrakhan on trial. And then he said, brother, I couldn't eat the food, by the way. After I got the soup down, the rest of the meal, I just couldn't eat. He said, brother, I was defending you all the time. And in my mind, I said, some defense. He said, brother, when did you come in the nation? I said, 1955. When did you write your play? 1956. Said, well, she didn't come in till 1958. I was trying to get you to say she told hers from you because you was here first and wrote yours first. Now wait. And then I retorted. Listen to my answer. I said, but dear Apostle, I could never accuse her of stealing something from me when both our plays were based on John Hawkins' history, and we didn't know nothing about that till we met you. And he looked around the whole table as if to say, see, here's a man that wouldn't accuse because he knew where it all comes from. See? And then when we got up from the table to go out, he greeted me and he said, you and my son Wallace go and mop up the wilderness. Okay? Now, when Mother Clara and the family see the messenger putting his top ministers on trial, you think you may see him blazing Farrakhan or blazing Malcolm or blazing this one, and you don't know why he's doing it. But he told me some months or years later, he said, brother, if you really want to know what's in somebody, just accuse them of something that you know they didn't do, but hold your point. And after a while, what's in them is going to come out. Well, he was telling me then why he did that. He was trying to see what kind of nerve I had to rise up against him. So the family is watching that, but how did they judge it? My daddy don't like nobody outshining him. I don't care how bright I shine. I could never outshine the light. I knew that I wasn't the light. I got the light from him. How then could he be jealous of me outshining him when if he shut me off from getting light, I'd be back in the dark again? So that's a kind of seed. It lays there in the brain. It doesn't get activated, but it's there. Mother Clara. Now, any of you that know Mother Clara to me, one of the most beautiful women in this world, was the wife of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mother Clara, to me. I loved her, and every time I saw her, my eyes would fill up with water. There wasn't one time that I was in her presence that tears didn't come up in my eyes. And one day, she came to me in the living room at 48, 47, and she said, "Brother, Minister, I notice that every time you see me, your eyes settle full of water." So I told my husband, and I asked him, "Why do you think his eyes settle full of water every time he sees me?" And my husband told me, "Well, why don't you ask him?" So I'm asking you, brother. And I said, "Every time I look at you, I think of the sacrifice that you make, that I could have a father and a teacher. And that's why my eyes fill with water." She said, "Thank you, brother." And she turned and walked away. When she was dying, the palace was being built. She was staying in Miami with Sister Lana Shabazz. And I was teaching in the college in Atlanta, and I went by her home where she was staying and brought her a big bouquet of flowers, in which was the bird of paradise flower, which is a favorite of mine, and I thought that she would like it. And so she came out, and she seemed a little down in spirit. And she said some words to me that at this point I won't repeat about myself, which is good, but what she said, I don't think it's necessary to say that in this place at this time. But then she asked me how the new home that he was building was going, and with joy I was telling her what I saw, because I had just left Chicago. And she said, "Well, brother, I don't think I'll live to see that house built." Brother Akbar was with me, and he's a witness of what was said in that room. When we walked out of that house, within a few months, she was in Mercy Hospital, dying, and she sent for me. And I went by her bedside. Nobody in the room, just me and Mother Clara Muhammad. And these are her words to me. She said, "Brother, my husband is getting old now, and he can't do the things that he used to do. Help my husband, brother. You help him." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I will help him." She said, "Now, he's not going to let you help him, but it ain't nothing but jealousy, but you help him anyway." Now, she's dying, but she's calling me to help her husband. So no matter what had transpired, because of the personal and domestic life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and she's in pain, but she never allowed that pain to rob her of the love of her husband and the desire to see his mission successful. So she appealed to me 3 times, help my husband. Tears running down her eyes, and I took a tissue from the side of the table at the bed, and I wiped her eyes, and I promised her that I would help her husband, and my word is my bond. Now, what I'm getting at is the word jealousy. See? I can't see through her eyes. I can only see through mine. But shortly after that, I'm in tremendous pain because I'm working to help him, and the laborers in Chicago are whispering around the nation saying that a hypocrite is going to rise that will make the hypocrisy of Malcolm look like child's play. He would be a master of the English language. But the messenger did say those words. But they were interpreting it as Farrakhan. So all over the nation, they were poisoning the people because of their hearing the messenger's words, believing he was talking about me. But what motivated them to try to destroy my character was it envy over his love of me and his choice of me. Now wait a minute.
Yeah, we're going to stop it right there. I'm going to leave y'all on that cliffhanger. I know you wanted to hear what he was about to say, but if you want to know what he's going to say, go ahead and tune in tomorrow morning. We have 30 minutes. Uh-oh. What went wrong with my camera? Hold on. Something happened. Give me 1 second. All right, let me see. We should be. Boom, there we go. If you all are on the Zoom and you have something that you would like to share, something that stood out to you, I want you to press the number 1 on the Zoom, so I can so you can unmute yourself and share what stood out to you. We are going to finish the second part or another part. I don't know if we're gonna knock this out in 2 or 3, but we'll do the other part tomorrow. Anybody have anything they want to share? Okay, nobody pressed number 1 yet. I'm going to. What stood out to me? Somebody said you can't do that. Yeah, I can. Come on, tune in tomorrow. But what stood out to me was the trial that the minister passed of when dealing with Mother Tanetta and the play, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, yeah, you stole it. And it was like it's kind of like Inception, because it's like he's trying to get the minister to defend himself that he wrote it because he was in the nation before she even came. But what he's really trying to get at and actually see is he going to respect who it really came. So it's like, man, a master teacher to even think that way, and the heart of the minister to pass it just because of who he is, his humility. You can remember when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he'll carry us what does he say? Across the water on our shoulders, and he won't say, "Look at what I have done." He would say, "Look at what Allah has done." So when the minister is teaching us to study him, recently on his 90th birthday, he talks about pattern. He wanted you to pattern your life after me. This insight that we're getting when the minister shares these tests and his stories with us, this is what we're supposed to grow into. I know we all done made some mistakes. We all done got some faults. We can see ourselves in probably every lecture when the minister is hitting on something. But this is what we are supposed to grow into. This type of mindset that, whoa, although this person may be accusing me, hey man, at the end of the day, all praise is due to Allah. We both should, neither one of us would know this without, X, Y, and Z. So the humility of the minister, and the wisdom, the way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would test you. I wish there was a book on that. You know what I mean? When you're trying to raise up a student in your field, like how he tests and the way that he done it, that he knew who he was picking when he picked the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. When the minister shares the different tests that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave him without even knowing, he said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would say certain things and then hang up the phone. Look at that. Some of us would be crushed by that. I know for a fact some people would be crushed by that. Had a minister or somebody call you and they hang up the phone, you, oh my goodness, this ain't for me. But the minister, he said, all right, I may not understand it right now, but this ain't finna affect my mission. So it's a lot, man. But all praise is due to Allah for the minister, the minister's example in front of us. Sister Sheelan, you up first.
Okay, so greetings all. Okay, so there are many things that stood out to me, of course, but one main thing that he spoke on was saying, oh, and this lighting is horrible. Okay, where's my number one? Most of the relationships are just pacifiers. They don't have much substance. Oh, my apologies. They're taking the baby. Okay, now let me get where I can see. Okay, they're just pacifiers. And some of us, or most of us, don't look at relationships as coming together to form a team to do the work of Allah. And that there stuck out to me because we really don't. He made mention that most of our relationships, we just come together at, I don't think I won't say that verbatim, of course, he didn't say that we're playing with it, but we're not focused on Allah in our relationships. He also spoke on how we should not allow others to come in between the sacredness of the relationship. And when he said that, I thought about how we have conversation, which he also spoke about, how we have conversations with others instead of having conversation with Allah, talking to Allah instead of other people, and how that destroys our relationships. And I that stuck with me because I've known that to be an experience. The last thing, well, there are many things that I'll speak more on those later, but it had me to look back at myself and how I did exactly that as well, speaking to others instead of having a conversation with Allah. I see how I handled things wrong. So it just had me to look within myself to make sure that I don't do those things again.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll digress.
Praise be to Allah. Sister Yolanda.
Assalamu alaikum. Camel backing off of yourself, Brother Ben, and the sister that just spoke. One of the things that you mentioned about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is his humility. And it's all, for lack of words and sake of time, in defending yourself. he didn't have to, or he didn't present a defense. And looking into that as for myself, when someone comes to ask me of a thing because of however they got word or knowledge of something, instead of getting all emotional, just remain humble. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir. Yes, sir. Just the humility, and even going through the test, not even knowing what's on the other side, or the receiving of remaining humility in your test. The other thing was, along with the building of relationships, or having relationships, and the things that we run to and fro from as pacifiers. We're not getting anything from the pacifiers. We need to deal with self. And I express to my children, in everything you go through, get the lesson. Get the lesson, whether good or bad. It's a lesson in everything. So more importantly in life, getting the lessons. Trials are going to come, whether you create them or not, they're going to come. Get the lesson out of it and remain humble and do the self-examination of self. So what is it, whether you did everything right or did everything wrong, what is it in that situation that didn't pan out to your expectation? Get the lesson out of it. And when you are wrong and someone comes to apologize and ask for your forgiveness, that was something new for me that was mentioned in that, when he said the lesson, I'm paraphrasing, getting the lesson, or be conscious of maybe the lesson that the other person that wronged you is getting out of what has happened in that situation. So it brought me in the mind frame of, like, don't block your blessings. It's not all, it's the forgiveness for you to move forward, but also look at the lesson what the other person came to you asking you for their forgiveness, the lesson that they're getting. Assalamu alaikum.
Man, that's deep. That's deep because all I can think about when I thank you for sharing that. I didn't even notice he said that myself. But what I get out of that is just simply a Muslim, right? A Muslim is one who submits their will to do the will of God. And I was having this conversation the other day in one of our groups. And I said, if Allah has and I'm not saying I'm right, by the way, I don't want nobody to take that I'm right. I just posed a question. I said that if Allah has an active and a permissive will, isn't everything that we do in line with his will? Maybe not his active will, but if nothing happens without the permission of Allah, I said, well, why do we get mad? Or why do we get sad? I mean, I get it, but if Allah permitted it, if it's his active, or he was permissive of it, why do we get mad? So that turned into a whole nother conversation. But what this made me think about is you have to really deny yourself, right? To rise above emotions into the thinking of God like that, because when people wrong us, we feel like somebody's wronged us. It's hard to consider, man, I know he's probably getting God has a lesson for him. God has a lesson for her. Like, I'm even going through this for a particular reason, versus looking inwardly at my problem and woe is me. Look at what I'm going through. I should go upward into the mind of God and say, hey, why am I going through this? And hey, although it may be hard, there's something that God has for this person. And if I truly love them, I'm okay with being a part of the lesson that you're going to receive. That's difficult. That's difficult. That's something like, damn, man, because you You only thinking, you know, when we're going through something, we're only thinking evil, man. I know Allah finna whoop him. Oh, I know Allah finna whoop her. And we thinking all of the negative things. We're not thinking about, man, God got her or got him going through the fire so that they can be cooled off eventually and Allah can mold them. This is just a part of their journey, and I'm a part of it. So let me strive to do as much as I know to do right, no matter how wrong they are, maybe. Let me strive to do as best I can of what I know to be a part of their healing in a process, if opposition and struggle and all this is ordained to bring the best out of us. Man, that takes maturity for us to rise above emotions and think like that when we're in pain. So that's what I thought while listening to that. Next, we got Brother Ahil.
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Walaikum salam.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, yes, sir. The veggie back off what Sister Yolanda was saying about the lesson and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan being on trial in front of the family in that manner. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan showing composure and, as you said, rising above emotion and not falling to his ego to want to point blame or point like and make the statement that, well, I made my play first, so how could I have copied this, that, and the third, when he knew the essence of where the teachings came from. You know, and him showing that composure in passing that test, because that's a psychology thing. In certain psychology classes, they teach you to ask people certain questions that you know they have to lie to, so you can pay attention to their body language, because everybody has a ticker. Everybody has a trait. Maybe their shoulder may jump, they may blink 2 times or scratch their nose, but they have a trigger to show you that they're going to come up with a lie. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was showing the family Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan's character and how he handles adversity in front of his peers, in front of the world, and showing that composure, showing that love that he has, even for the sister, to not want to condemn her under that flame.
Wow.
Under that, you know what I'm saying? And just showing them his character and making it his point proven, making the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's point to be proven for the fact that this is the right character. This is the right man that has the mind of God, as I have taught to the T. And just an amazing individual that we have, and I thank Allah for these lessons, and the Honorable Miss Louis Farrakhan being able to live in right now, in the past, and in the future, be able to live as a perfect example of these teachings, and being able to be an example for other people to embody. And that goes back to the first clip when he was playing E.T., when he says you have to love the process as much as the prize. That's one of the key things that stuck out to me, because people lose track of the process because all they want is the prize. But you have to love the process of going through these things to be able to appreciate the prize. But there's a lot more I could say, but I'm gonna go ahead and lay my plan there. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. Brother Shakur.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. There's a couple of notes I took, and like I said, I enjoy seeing the process. Remember, everybody that understands supreme mathematics is that you have to go from knowledge to born, meaning from 1 to 9. And once you go from knowledge to born, then you analyze it. You analyze your process. Then you go back from 9, meaning from born back to knowledge. So once you go through something, then you have to grow through something. And that is the process. And then, so when you look at the process, and this is I know this is an old clip. I saw this decades ago of the minister speaking when he gave this lecture. And he said the prerequisite for marriage is love. We know that when you look at the supreme alphabet, the 12th letter is love, right? And notice that it's number 12. Number 1 represents knowledge, which is the original man, that's us. And number 2 represents wisdom, which is the black woman. So when 1 and 2 come together, they make love. When knowledge comes together with wisdom, they make love. And the physical understanding would be the children that you produce. We also know love is the highest form, or we say love is the elevation, the highest form of understanding. So when you truly understand somebody, you do not hurt those people. When you truly, that's what love is. So when I do something, you do it in relationship because you don't want to bring a certain kind of pain on your family or on your spouse or on your significant other. You don't do that. That's why it says love is the elevation, the highest form of understanding. So this is why you go through those things and tighten up your understanding in your mathematics about what love is and what love is not, because we know that everything has a duality. So Brother Ben and family, so when somebody says, well, I love you, I don't know why I keep doing these things, but I love you, they're giving you love backwards. And what does love phonetically spell backwards? EVOL is evil. That's what it is. When they keep doing things to you, that's why you tighten up on your mathematics. Now, the other thing is, in that clip, the minister said, he said that the prerequisite of marriage is love. So understanding love mathematically. Now, he went on to say that, I think he said that marriages, he didn't call them marriages, he called them funerals. He said because the dead will lie. So if marriage is a contract, when you start studying, like I said before, about understanding words, like the minister broke down words about etymology, and the other kind of dictionary you need is a Black's Law Dictionary, a 4th edition or earlier, because people who are in positions of leadership, they speak a language that is mathematically correct. So when you go in that courtroom, that judge not going to try you on what you meant to say. He going to charge you on what you said. So you better understand that's why something can be legal and not be lawful, and something can be lawful and not be legal. I'm going to leave you with that. Now I'm going to go on with the last part. And this is one of my favorite degrees in the lessons, right? It says, what makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes? Right? It said the earth is approximately covered under water, approximately 3/4 of its surface. These lessons gonna show you who you are when you study. So the earth is referred to as a woman. The earth cover herself with 3/4 of water, just like a righteous woman does. You cover yourself. You don't have all yourself out and open. So it goes on to say, earth is approximately covered with 3/4 of water, approximately 3/4 of its surface. The sun and moon have an attracting power on our planet, while our planet makes a record speed of 1,037 1/3 miles per hour on its way around the sun. See, brothers and sisters, especially brothers, a woman know you better than you know yourself. She rotating around you 1,037 1/3 miles per hour. A woman know you. She'll know what you will do and what you won't do. And you don't see her because she rotating at a terrific speed. Now it said the sun draws this water up to the earth's rotation, which is called gravitation, a fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect. See, there are energies being exchanged between you and that woman, and you don't see them. And a lot of times they're not even verbally communicated. That's why when they tell you, when you start talking about, you take communication class, they say the number one type of communication is nonverbal. People give you a look, give you attitude, and you feel the energy. So it goes on to say, the earth draws this water up into the earth's the sun draws this water up into the earth's rotation, which is called gravitation, and fine mist that the naked eye can hardly detect. But as this mist ascends high and increasing with other mists of water, different currents of the atmosphere, until when she becomes heavenly gravitation. Then she distills back to the earth in the form of drops of water, drops of ice, which depends on how heavy the mist was and the current of air was in. Now, that part. What makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes? If it rain, hail, snow, and earthquake outside of your body, it rain, hail, snow, and earthquake on the inside of your body. Now, If you dealing with somebody who's making it rain, hail, snow, and earthquake all the time around you, you don't need to be with that person. You don't need to be with them. So do they, when you with them and you get back to yourself, distill back to yourself, do you come back as rain, a life-giving force, or do you come back as hail? Hail come down, hit car windows, cars and crash off, kill people, or do you come back as snow? You drive on the snow, your truck, the car hijack or jackknife off the road and you die. You got to study these lessons because they're going to show you everything you need to see about the self.
Real quick, right? If you can go for about 1 more minute, I got to get off right at 10 for my meeting, and I want to get Brother William 2X, that last one before we go. But go ahead.
I'll stop. And the last thing, brother Ben, is that in the end of the lesson, it say all the above said is caused by the Son of Man. You the Son of Man. You called it. You caused it. Because you got life and death in your tongue. You are the Son of Man. And that's why when you study the original man, you talk about that. I had this. When you see those Jews at the wall, at the Wailing Wall, they know that. That's why they were all black. They were all black because they talk about how God put his consciousness in an all black body, arm, leg, arm, head, Allah. And they know it. And that's why they were all black, because they know who the original man is. But like I said, you got to study these lessons, man. So when you read books like the Encyclopedia Proof, The Black Man is God by Dr. West Muhammad, or The Black God by Dr. Supreme Understanding, you will know these things, and these people can't pull nothing over your eyes, no wool over your eyes, and you got to study your lessons. Peace.
Peace. Yes, sir. I wanted to, I know you said you didn't know exactly what the minister said. The minister had said that he do funerals, but not weddings, because the people say till death do us part and then get a divorce. So he said, so dead people can't lie. So I do the funerals, but I ain't doing them weddings. So I wanted to get that direct quote from the minister. Brother William 2S, go ahead and close us out.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Wa alaikum salam.
I think a key point that stuck out to me was the empathy, the level of empathy that the minister had with Mother Clara, and him tearing up every time that he saw her, and her asking him what was the reason. And the answer was so beautiful that it brought me to think of us and us as a people and being a bride to God. And it was the sacrifice that she made for the messenger to grow into his role. And I mean, I believe that there's sacrifices that we all have to make in order to grow into a certain role, into the role that Allah has provided for us. So I think that was a key point for myself, even in marriages, that one another have the sacrifices that each other have to make for our spouse to grow into that role.
Yes, sir. That was it?
Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. All right, family, we're going to close out. You can text the word nation, or never mind. Go to www.brotherbenlinks.com, www.brotherbenlinks.com, and that first little button that you're going to be able to push is going to open up your text messages where it says join us every Monday through Friday. We're on every Monday through Friday at 8:00 a.m. on the Zoom with all of us. And if you have not got on a text list, when you click that button and text the word nation to the number, it should respond with a Zoom link and the passcode to the Zoom link every morning at 8 a.m. And if you already got the Zoom link and the passcode, it's going to be the same Zoom link and passcode every day. So just save it. And we're on at 8 a.m. on the power call. On the power call, we go over mindset, spirituality, going over your goals so that you can get your day started right. Sister Randisha said, happy born day. Appreciate that. Yeah, my born day is today. I just turned 78 something trillion years young. So I appreciate y'all, man. So I see y'all, God willing, tomorrow. And we're going to be doing part 2 of how to heal a broken heart. And if you know this lecture is needed to be heard by somebody, just share it. Maybe that's how God going to work through y'all. Y'all ain't got to say nothing. Maybe you can just send the link tomorrow. Maybe you can say, girl, I know, girl, you've been all that stuff you've been talking about on Facebook. You need to come get on this Zoom. Brother, all that stuff you've been gossiping about and you telling me about, boy, you need to come get on this here Zoom. And you never know, man, you may help somebody because they heard a sentence. They heard a paragraph that the minister said and it changed their life. And God was able to use you. So thank y'all for listening. I'll see you guys in the morning. Peace.